ladies? Yep, this is not gonna help. Alright, now it's time for my unpopular opinions about relationships. And people are gonna get mad at me for saying this. I want to get the most painful one out of the room, which is my opinion on transgender and straight relationships, because after in the end you're gonna agree with me, because I think that a whole lot of stuff hasn't been cleared up on why things happen because it happens. Okay, you are a female. Okay, you are a man who transitioned to a female. Okay, you took the surgery. You whacked it off, everything. I'm sorry, you need to tell somebody. You need to tell that person who you're potentially going to be in a relationship, especially if it's a guy. And it's not because they're going to beat the shit out of you. No, trust me. If you're honest beforehand, like when they first meet, and you are actually honest, that will surprise. Like, it's surprising to say this. Men aren't really that violent. Okay, like, the whole reason why a man reacts the way he reacts towards the fact that he just had sex with a transgender woman and he beats the shit out of you, it's the fact is they didn't told him beforehand. Like, men and women, men have a type, and men do have a preference. Men sometimes prefer their women to be naturally female. People also prefer honesty. That's one of the biggest important factors out there. Like, I know a guy who's down for dating transgender women as long as they tell him beforehand. Like, that's one of the biggest things. You don't fucking lie about that. That is something that's important. Yeah, gender is one of the most important things out there. Like, it's the one thing that Tumblr doesn't shut the fuck up about. But it's also something that is important for identifying people. See, that's the thing, and personally, there's only two genders. There really is. I'm not considering non-binary as a gender for the sole purpose of non-binary just means you don't have a label. It means that you don't identify as a label. And if someone says it's an act of violence, no, it's not. If you're naturally born female, like if you were born female, then you are in the female category. You are a girl. You are a female. Guess what? That's not a bad thing, and I don't know why people say it is. And
get out of here. They will not.
I get it. People think that they're born in different gender bodies, okay? But there's an easy way to fix that. There's things called femboys. There's things called tomboys. A tomboy is a female that acts more like a guy. He's more masculine, if you want to say that. I'm gonna say how it is. It's a female that likes boy things. It's a female that plays sports. It's a female that she identifies as female. She still likes guys. It's just the fact is that she's more the big spoon, not the little spoon. And sometimes she's the one who ends up pegging her boyfriend. That's a whole new story for another day. But not my story. That's a story that someone else has to tell. But yeah. Then there's men who are metrosexual, and that's men who are more feminine, men who like female products. They still like girls. It's just the fact is that they don't mind dressing in a dress once in a while. Trust me, there's nothing wrong with that. There really isn't. You want to dress up in a dress, no one's gonna care. If you're a guy who want to wear makeup and I don't know, watch Grey's Anatomy and watch a shit ton of chick flicks, go on ahead. It's America. It's a free country. I'm just like weirded out the fact that those categories aren't being used. Like, it literally went to witches, vampires, towards tomboys and metrosexual boys, towards transgender. It's like there's a lot of things out there, and there's a lot of people who are actually transgender, but there's a difference between someone who is transgender and someone's like, oh my god, I like chick flicks, I am automatically a woman. No. I think that's a product of terrible parenting. Guys can like chick flicks, girls can like superhero films. There really isn't a category out there. Yes, normally when they label things out in colors, they label boy stuff blue and girl stuff pink. At the same time, that is for females and boys categories. That doesn't mean that there's always going to be blue stuff for girls and pink stuff for guys. Like, there is t-shirts that are pink for men. There is toys that can be pink for men. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking about this because gender is one of those sensitive things that I'm just gonna go back to the dating thing. Back to the premise of why you need to be completely honest. Honesty is one of the biggest things in a relationship, and that's something that you absolutely need to tell. Because, yeah, frankly enough, you would get your ass kicked. Because it's more on the lines of the fact that you didn't tell them. It's not the fact that you are transgender, it's the fact that you didn't say anything. Some people are pretty much okay with it. There's some guys that are into women who have a dick. It's true. Some people are into that shit. And yes, people have preferences. Guys can have a type, and so can women. I don't know where people think that men have to sit there and date anyone who ever asks them out and be grateful about it, but women can sit there and be picky as absolute hell. I'm seriously wondering where in the fuck did that actually come from, because if we're going to talk about equality, men should have the ability to pick and be as picky as women are when it comes to dating. I'm sorry, but it's true. Some men aren't picky, some men are. Some men have a type, some men don't. But here's another thing though. When it comes to relationships, some men can say that they want a big booty, big titty woman, and then end up dating someone who's completely fucking flat. A type is a type. That's all it is. It's just a specific preference. A woman, like, but then there's people who take it too far and specifically only date people who fit their specific type. You do that, good luck dating. Good luck fucking dating. Like, I wish you the best of luck. Because here's the thing though, no one's gonna fit your specific category on what turns you on, like what you want in a relationship. Some people date specifically on looks, and that's, my personal thought, is really fucked up. Like, I'm gonna say my type right here and now. I like women I can actually have a conversation with. I like people who I can be opinionated towards that aren't gonna freak out on the fact that I'm being opinionated. I like people who have a understanding. And people are gonna say that means I want subservient women. No, I don't. I want people who can fight back in a conversation. See, my personal thought when it comes to relationships is arguing is healthy in a relationship. It really is. Like, if you agree on, like, if you do nothing but agree on the same things, oh my god, that's just, it gets boring. It's just gonna fuck up the relationship. I'm gonna put it like this, like they put it in 22 Jump Street. What you need is friction in a relationship, because friction makes fire. And what fire is usually a symbol of? Passion. And passion's the one thing a lot of people want in a relationship. Like, I'm not gonna, I am not gonna lie. Relationships are one of the strangest fucking things to have nowadays. Like, you know what it is, dating in a nutshell for men nowadays? It's, hey, you wanna go out? I'm a dude. Hey, you wanna go out? I'm 13. Hey, you wanna go out? You better leave me before I kill you, you fucking man. There's a lot of times we're just like, what did we do? We just asked you out. It's funny in my eyes, and I think I personally laugh at it. Like me, I have a hard time dating. Like, I have a hard time in a relationship. Relationships, in my eyes, they are one of the toughest things out there, and they take an extreme amount of work. Like, they are very high maintenance, especially in long distance relationships. Usually in long distance relationships, usually when someone stops talking to you within like a week or so, move on. Like, that's at that point, move on. Especially when you're adult, because it's not like they're grounded. It's not like it's one of those things that's one of the biggest things out there. You can't ignore somebody and expect someone to just stay in a relationship. No. You stop talking to that person. That person's not gonna see it as someone taking a break from fucking social media. No, they're gonna take it as, okay, I guess they're no longer interested in me. Like, I don't know why people consider it cheating at that point. No, it isn't. Like, yes, I say a week is a little too short. I should say wait like 3 or 4 weeks. That's when you should be,
You know,
giving up hope.
you're right. I do have a lot to do.
But yeah, that's besides the point. I'm not gonna sit there and argue about my opinion, because my opinion is my opinion. Like, if people disagree, I guess that's how it is. Another thing that's important in relationships: no one has to be in a relationship. No one has to sit there and agree with you. Like, if you want to know what a relationship is, a relationship's basically a partnership. It's two people willing to share their lives together. There's a lot of people who sit there and say, oh, that means that they have to do what they say. No, 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 no. You are sadly mistaken. in a perfect world, a relationship wouldn't be considered a fad. Like, there's a lot of people in, like, especially in young age, where they think a relationship just means someone you get to fuck. No. Like, when it comes to sex, I believe sex is one of the least important things in a relationship. I wouldn't be worried about sex until the third fucking date. But at the same time, you should be pitching in by trying to get to know the person. If you're just dating someone for their body, I believe that's extremely fucked. You do you and all that, but at the same time, if you're just dating for the physical instead of the mental, hey, you can date somebody for their physical looks, but at the same time, you need to be dating someone who you can click personality-wise too. Like, I know a lot of people who specifically date, specifically on looks. I have a friend who does that, and she has some of the most fucked up relationships out there. Like, hey, you want a relationship that's all about sex? You know what that is? That is friends with benefits. That's literally all it is. Think of it like being friends with somebody, but you get to do more of the personal stuff with. And yeah, personally, that's okay in society. No one's gonna look bad at you for it. I just don't know why people have such big hang-ups on a lot of different things. There's a lot of different categories that you can simply just use and people will know what it means. Like, hey, you're not down for a relationship, but you want to still fool around with somebody? Friends with benefits, that's legit the category that you could use. Or if you're sleeping with multiple dudes at once, and that's because you don't want to be tied down, and the fact is that you just want to have sex for the sake of having sex. Yeah, there's a category for that too. It's called being a slut. Or being a man whore. I am so gonna die after this. I'm sorry, but it's true. Then there's like people who like sit there and one thing I've always said is why you shouldn't date with someone who has a higher body count than fucking Ron Jeremy. There's several reasons behind that. One, someone can get desensitized by sex. Someone can actually not be stimulated because of how many people they have slept with. Like, hey, a lot of people go through the whore phase. I get it. Like, there's a lot of people who sit there and just sleep with a lot of people. Men, that's a lot harder. Men actually sit there and go through, actually have a longer whore phase because they can't get out of their system quicker than women. Because if people really want to know, matchmaking for men is a lot harder for women. it's one of the hardest things out there. Yeah, female, like, a guy cannot be into a specific type of female, but she could turn around and talk to another guy and probably get in a decent relationship. But men, it's a lot harder. Men's a lot scarier, especially in modern society. For men, when it comes to relationships, it's terrifying. Men have a hard time in relationships because the fact is that they're gonna get fucked. Like, yeah, they're the ones who are doing the fucking, but at the same time, they're gonna be fucked. Financially, physically, mentally. There's a lot of times when women will treat men like they're objects. And believe me, women do a lot more than guys.
This teleportation hub will allow quick transport between key locations, like other safe houses in Gotham
Believe it or
City
not,
and Metropolis
women do it a lot
City.
more
See a
than
mail
guys.
notification
I'm
on
not
your
gonna
mail
sit
app?
there
Check
and
your mail
pretend
at
they
one of
don't,
these mail
because
boxes. Treat messages from
that would
unknown
just be a
senders
fucking
cautiously,
lie.
But mail from famous heroes usually contains rewards, so don't sit on those.
But it's just something that you have to
Everyone has different
understand.
approaches to finding their own iconic looks. But remember,
It's
the only truly
terrifying for a guy to get into a
They're
relationship.
Promo-ing soda colas. They're quick, cheap pick-me-ups that really come in handy during a fight. Keep a lot on hand. Finding investigations, briefs, and
There's Oracle
collections
Bot.
provides great insights, and
And they still haven't fixed Robin. They still haven't fucking fixed this one fucking character. Why? Like, turn him into Red Robin. Fix the voice actor.
Booster Gold Tour, just that Booster cares more about hearing himself talk than providing useful info. Bounties offer great rewards, but be careful not to take them on by yourself. Teaming up is key when going after bigger targets.
Okay. But yeah, relationships are freaking terrifying for guys. Like, hey, you could be a guy that actually can get in a decent relationship and not get screwed over. Cool, good for you. You get the one thing that most men don't get. And believe me, that is really freaking hard. It's one thing I've noticed is women actually don't have that big of an issue when it comes to getting in relationships than guys do. Like, don't get me wrong. Women can be terrified of relationships too. It's the fact is that, like, people say that women have it worst when it comes to relationships and marriage and all that. I'm like, no, they don't. They really don't. Like, okay, man, if they divorce their spouse, the female gets half of their shit, custody of the kids, and if she doesn't, she could just fight in court and the man's just gonna get screwed over because of favoritism. All the female has to say is, I've been hit, like he has hit me before, and they're always gonna take her side, and the man's just gonna be financially screwed. The female will be financially stable, while the guy will be financially screwed. Yeah, there's ways to work around this, like a prenup, but that can only do so much. Like, one of the biggest things out there, and I've noticed this, when someone's like, oh, I'm gonna fight for the kids, I'm gonna make sure you don't have them. I'm just like, good luck with that. Like, I'm sorry. That's a losing battle for you. Like, if people want to tell me their perspective on that, go right ahead. Sorry, I am 19 years old, so I've never been married, as people can tell. I'm probably never gonna get married. Especially because how quick people are gonna rush. Like, it's scary, but it's true. But, you know, it's whatever. But here's another thing that I'm just gonna say this. Why are people so easily going to jump into a fucking relationship? Like, I've seen this in fucking movies and media and people in real life too. It's where, oh my god, I am friends with it. Like, I'm a guy who's friends with this female. I must have to fuck her and all that shit. Like, no. You can be friends with somebody without having to be in a relationship with them. You can be friends with someone in the opposite sex and be friends with them. And females, you can be friends with other females without fucking them. Believe me, it's called being friends. It's not called friend zoned, it's called being friends. Friend zoned is when you put someone who has a crush on you in the friend category. That's called friend zoned. But when you both are comfortable with just being friends, that's a different story. That's not being friend zoned, that is just being friends. And I'm flat gonna say this. You know, soulmates can be platonic, right? I'm hoping people know this. I'm hoping people know that soulmates can be platonic. Like, honestly, like, if you look in comic book media and most media nowadays, relationships are literally created over the fact of fans demanding for these two friends to be in a relationship, like Joker and Harley. Okay, not Joker and Harley. Poison Ivy and Harley. They were friends. Like, they were just flat out friends, not lesbians or anything like that. It changed for the sole purpose of people wouldn't shut up about it. People automatically assumed that's what was going on. Like, believe it or not, sometimes that's not the fucking case. Some people can be extremely close. Like, okay, you know what it is when someone's extremely close, when they're friends? It's, at that point, it's more of a brotherly bond, or a sibling bond. That pretty much means that you are so close to being friends, like me and my friend Parker. Me and him are really close to being friends. I consider him my brother. Does that mean I'm gonna sit there and let him fucking play the fucking butt flute? No. Exit only. And I'm into women. Alright, here, I'm gonna bring someone into this and I wanna see what his response is. I'm gonna bring a person into this because I can guarantee this is not gonna end well for me. I'm just gonna invite him to the Batman chat. Like, honestly, I just need, like, I'm having a second opinion on this, and that's what I want to hear. That's for the sake. I want to hear a second opinion. Because I don't want to feel like a complete asshole here. Motherfucker. Is he busy or some shit? I guess he's busy. The fuck? Guess that's something I'm gonna work towards. Fuck. Shit. I'm gonna go back to using my paycheck to actually sit there and make money. Okay, before anyone says, you actually spend money, I'm like, what I would do is I'll put $10. That's it, $10. And then I will do this weird thing that people don't, well, that people don't do, which is called save. Which is saving my money. Because, believe it or not, I believe that you should save your money. Yeah. Like, in the end of the day, relationships are very important in society. Like, they are one of the most important things out there. But yeah, it's one of those things. Like, I could say that my relationships sucked. My relationships really just suck. And I can only, like, in my perspective, I can only talk about straight relationships. I really can. Like, if I want to talk about gay relationships or lesbian relationships, I would have to say I would have to talk about it through the perspective of my friends and family that are gay or lesbian or bisexual. Like, women who become bisexual, they find some struggles when it comes to being a guy, and then they're just like, holy fuck, I totally get it. Because, believe it or not, there is a lot of struggles that guys have that women on women can have too. Like, I'm not gonna be the last, I'm not gonna be the first guy to say it, and I'm not gonna be the last. One of my biggest one of my biggest opinions on relationships. Oh no. This is gonna piss people off. It's just gonna piss a lot of people off. There is no difference in interracial relationships. Like, people think this is like panned out as like, oh, there's always like this big difference from it, and like, no, there really isn't. My aunt has been in a relationship with a black man, and what her response is, the sex was no different from having sex with a white guy. Those relationships, like, yeah, interracial relationships are not different. They are practically the same thing as having sex, being in the same relationship as another white person, or being in another relationship with another black person, or being in another relationship with Indian, Mexican, Chinese, Japanese, Korean. I'm hoping I'm hitting every square here, because if I don't, someone's gonna get mad at me. There really isn't no difference. Like, I'm gonna flat out say this: the black men having big dicks, Chinese people having tiny dicks, and white people having small dicks. That rumor has been debunked a long fucking time ago. That's like saying all black women have big asses. Not all black women have big asses. Like, in all honesty, not all white women have big asses either. Interracial dating isn't different. It's practically just, it's like this. Me being in a relationship with a black woman is gonna be no different from me being in a relationship with a white woman. The only issues is social hang-ups. And that's what they are. They're just social hang-ups. It's not racism, it's social hang-ups. And that's from parents, not from society. Because there's a lot of people who are born in a certain timeline where you would get your ass kicked if you were a white person dating a black person. And that's what the social hang-ups are. Some people aren't used to it, but after they understand it and after they get used to it, it doesn't become a big deal anymore. Like, it's zip zap, done, over with. Like, I'm gonna flat out talk about, like, I can flat out talk about the shitty relationships I've seen and the social angles behind that. Like, people are like, I remember a friend of mine is so fucking scared of her father being mad at her for dating a black man. After she told him, you know what his response was? Okay, he's black, and why should I care? Like, he was fucking funny, like, when she told me about this, because she flat out said, but I was so fucking worried that you were gonna get mad because he's black. He called her a racist. Him. He called her a fucking racist. And not to, like, towards black people and white people. He's like, you assume that I'm gonna be mad at you dating a black person because I'm white. That is fucked. Like, not all people are gonna freak out. Yeah, some do. But at the same time, people just need to quit seeing it's a big deal. It really isn't. You know what my response is anytime when I hear that my friend's dating, like, someone who's from the opposite race of them? Because because believe it or not, some guys go, oh my god, it's such a big fucking deal. No, it isn't. Do they make you happy? Do you have good conversations with that person? Okay, good. Then there's nothing to talk about. Not unless they're physically beating you, treating you like shit. Why should I care? Because believe me, I don't give it. Like, no one cares. No one really gives a shit. The reason why I'm talking about it here and now, because it's a problem that people think it's a problem. And then there's people who take it like it's such a big fucking deal. No, it isn't. It really fucking isn't. And if you go, I'm gonna say this, if you go through your life thinking that all black men have big dicks, or all white men have small dicks, you're gonna live a very sad fucking life. Cause you shouldn't be focusing on the fucking dick size to begin with. Like, that's like one thing you really shouldn't be fucking focusing on, but people focus on it for some odd reason. But you do. It's that big. It's not that big of a deal. It's ridiculous, but at the same time, people can live with it. Here's the thing, though. Everyone can have a preference. No one's gonna get butthurt over that. The sooner you realize that no one really gives a shit, the faster you can move on and just go, okay, cool. Now I can live my life now. Like, seriously, I don't care about all this shit that's really going on. It's the fact is that I need to talk about it because I feel like I need to. I feel like I have to sit there and talk about it because no one else will. I need to get that mainly for that sole purpose. I need to get the pyromaniac breather. Like, I'm sorry, like, people have such big hang-ups over relationships. My personal thought is if you're super duper scared of being in a relationship and you're trying to get into one, don't get into one. If you're not mentally stable enough to be in a relationship, you don't have to be in one. You don't physically need to. No one's gonna shame you for you not being in a relationship. And if you think someone's gonna shame you for that, and if your friends actually shame you for it, you need to pick better friends. Because they aren't supportive at all. They're just assholes. For the longest time of me being single, my friend Parker doesn't care. After a long time of me getting back into a relationship, yeah, he started caring. But what the least he did, he handed me a thing of condoms like, okay, I don't need these, but you're gonna need them. That's legit all he did. That was the biggest deal that's the only time when he actually made it remotely a big deal. Oh, look, it's Superman. Actually, that's a pretty badass Superman. I don't know why people don't understand this or don't care to understand it, but it's the truth. Now, let's talk about something that's very important. Give me one sec, though. Okay, let's talk about something else that's gonna piss people off. Because, well, you know. Like, I can guarantee anything when I talk about relationships, it's just gonna piss people off because my opinion's different from other people, and apparently I can't have a different opinion. Because I'm a white straight male. Like, before people even freak out on me when it comes to relationships, I'm gonna say this: abuse really isn't an excuse to be super duper jumpy in your relationship. Like, if you are super duper jumpy in your relationship because of past abuse, that's okay, but don't use it as an excuse. Talk to the person. Don't sit there and hide it from somebody. Sit there and actually talk to somebody, because guess what? Here's the thing about being in a relationship. They are there to help you on the rough times. They're that person who you can talk to and not have to worry about someone shunning them because of it. And you sit there and hide stuff like that, it's just going to cause the relationship to fail. Yeah, you have past issues in relationships, guess what? So does a lot of people. You have been abused in a relationship, guess what? So does a lot of people. The quicker someone just realizes the fact that you don't have to, like, the quicker you freaking realize that it is something that everyone has dealt with in the past, the quicker you're gonna live a happier and more fulfilled life. Because believe me, like, one of the biggest things that bugs a lot of people
Vanishing point is that much
is
stronger.
when someone's extremely fucking jumpy over the littlest shit.
Thanks for keeping the
Like,
multiverse together.
hey, you
This
are
is the least
scared
I can do.
and about talking to, like, if you're scared to talk about your feelings, okay, cool, you're scared. You know how I fixed that situation? Talking about my feelings. And yes, that is actually easier said than done, because some people have a hard time talking about their feelings. Me, in my case, women are... Sorry, I can't really... I'm not gonna sit there and generalize, but in men's case, when it comes to women, and this is okay, this is the part where I'm gonna men will be scared because they are afraid of the fact that they're gonna be turned into a footnote. That's one of the biggest things that scare guys. It's the fact that they're being used. And people will actually stoke those fears. Friends will actually sit there and stoke those fears. And that's the truth. Like, I'm not going to sit there and pretend that I'm not scared my fucking friend shitless because I thought it was funny as hell. But at the same time, that's just scaring a friend. That is a badass looking hot girl, by the way.
You should be rewarded for your loyalty, and you shall.
Believe me. It's part of life, scaring your friends. Like, you can stoke someone's fears. The fact is, some people do react upon them, and you need to be careful about that. Sorry, but it's true. Some people are fucking predictable. And I often will laugh my ass off because my friends reacted super duper fucking terrified after I stoked their fear a little bit. After I sat there and fucked with them a little bit about the relationship. Same time, I probably shouldn't have done that, but it's fucking hilarious. Especially when your friends do it to you. Like in my case, the reason why I've done it is because my friend done it to me. And Payback's a fucking bitch. I'm sorry, Payback's a bitch. Like, I'm not gonna fuck around when I say I will sit there and fuck with people because for the sake of the fact is I think it's funny. I get a kick out of it. I get a kick out of messing with my friends when it comes to their relationships. But at the same time, people need to tell the difference about fucking with somebody and actually sitting there talking to you about relationships. Because there's sometimes when a guy's actually sitting there trying to warn their friend. In my case, I don't sit there and warn my friends because I'm just like, okay. I'll sit there and fuck around and mess with you, but in the end of the day, your relationship's your relationship. If you if you are super duper fucking scared, or if you don't know what's going on, or the fact is that you're not 100% sure about that relationship, okay, cool. I'm not gonna step foot into it, especially if your relationship turns out to be absolute shit, because it is what it is. I'll sit there and talk to you and try to be the best friend I can, but at the same time, I'm not gonna sit there and fucking tell you not to do something because I'm not your dad. I'm not gonna act like it. And that's something that people need to realize. I'm not your dad. Don't treat me like I am, because I'm really not. Like, the quicker people understand that, the quicker life will be easier. Just believe me when I say, I don't give a shit. I don't care. Your relationship's your relationship. Okay? And this is my unpopular opinions. If you agree with me, please leave a comment and leave a like. If you disagree with me, let me know. If you want me to talk more on the subjects, I can. If you want me to talk about friendships instead of actual relationships, I can sit there and talk about those too. Because, believe me, I can explain a lot of different shit that actually gives a lot of people, that gives me issues and causes problems. Alright, thank you guys for watching this video. Leave a comment and subscribe, and yeah, peace out.